Hildy felt ignored, and that was even worse than being alone. So she decided to sell the house, but the first 5 people who came to look at it were scared away before they could even enter the front door. Hildy tried to make the house less ghost-infested by selling all the haunted things in the house. She even wrote to the man in Portugal if he wanted to have his bureau back. But the man wrote back and said he didn't want the bureau. But in the letter, he asked how she was, and he signed off as your friend, Joa. Hildy stared at the words for a while and thought, could he really be her friend, or was he just being friendly? She wrote back and liked that she was doing well, and signed off as your friend, Hildy. The 2 of them continued to exchange letters, but they were kept short and brief, and were just talking about the weather and simple stuff. Hildy wasn't sure if Joao really considered her as a friend, or was he just being polite. Until in the letter he wrote, if you ever come to Coimbra again, I would be honored if you would visit me again. Hildy booked a train ticket straight away the next day to Portugal, and she waved goodbye to the ghosts and said, goodbye, ghosts. I'll be back in a few weeks. But the ghost made no reply. It took about a week to reach Portugal on the train, and Hildy was feeling uneasy all this while. She wasn't sure if Joao would like her in person, because no one really liked her. When she arrived at his house, his spectral-looking mansion seemed to be watching her through the cracked window eyes. As Hildy walked towards the porch, a wave of black crows took off screaming from an old oak tree, and she noticed a ghost was swinging from a noose from the 3rd floor balcony. She waved at it, and the ghost waved back, confused. Joa answered the door and invited Hildy into his house in a friendly manner. But Hildy was still feeling uneasy, so she kept quiet, and Joa asked, did I do something to offend you? Are you feeling all right? And Hildy knew she had ruined this chance of making a real friend. And when she was about to cry, she could feel the tears coming from her eyes. She quickly took off and ran to the next room to hide herself. Joa didn't chase after her, leaving her with some privacy. Hildy was angry with herself, and at the same time so embarrassed. She cried silently at the corner in the room. Just then, she heard a sound behind her. A ghost of a young woman was standing behind the table, making paper weights drop on the floor. And Hildy said, stop it! You're making a mess in Joa's house. The girl said, you can see me? Hildy replied, yes, and you are far too old to be playing tricks like this. Stop it. The ghost was embarrassed and said, yes, I'll leave. And she disappeared through the wall. Just then, Joa came in and said, you spoke to it, and you made it go away. How did you do that? And Hildy said, yes, I can see them, and I can speak to them, and they will not bother you anymore. Joa was amazed. He started telling Hildy that all the ghosts were making his life so difficult, and he didn't have any idea how to chase them away. He tried to talk to them, but the ghosts wouldn't listen to him. Once, he even called in a priest to get rid of them, but that just made the ghosts angrier and broke more of his things. So Hildy explained, you have to be firm with them. It wasn't easy being a ghost, and the ghosts wanted to feel respected. Joa asked, can you help me get rid of them? Hildy said, I can certainly try. And they started to talk in a comfortable manner.